Well, hi everyone, Neil Weichel with RE/MAX again with a bonus video specifically on appraisal. And I wanted to address this because it's easily the most important and most misunderstood part of the purchase contract. And in a rising price environment, very often we're selling homes at a price higher than where others have sold, and the home isn't going to appraise. Okay, because the appraisers don't have the comps to use to bring in the appraisal at what the buyer just offered the seller. So why am I addressing appraisal? I'm addressing appraisal because there's a lot of confusion about it. Now, if you're a buyer, you'll notice on 3I of your purchase contract, it has the appraisal contingency. Typically, you have 17 days to get your appraisal done. And if the appraised value in a normal market comes in lower than what you offered and the seller accepted, it's very common the buyer will go to the seller and say, hey, I want you to drop the price to the appraisal. Well, this isn't a normal market. This is a market where the seller calls the shots, typically not the buyer. And because of that, listing agents like myself that represent a lot of sellers, we're removing this as a contingency so that a buyer, if the appraisal doesn't come in, can't go to a seller and try to renegotiate the price. That's how we make sure the buyer actually buys the home at the price they offered. They don't tie it up and try to renegotiate the price when the appraisal comes in. We remove 3I completely. Now, what does that mean? It means that the buyer has to be willing to bring in extra money, put down extra money to still get the loan. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that you bought a home for $1.1 million and all the comps in the area are at $1 million. And the appraiser goes out and uses 6 homes as part of the appraisal process, and they're allowed to make an adjustment for an appreciating market, but never is it enough to support a $100,000 increase in values over homes that sold maybe a month or 2 or 3 ago. So what does this mean? They paid $1.1 million, the appraisal comes in $1 million. That buyer now has to put an extra $100,000 down to still get the loan. So I have to make sure they have it, and I may have to make sure that they understand that they are going to pay the price they offered, bring in that extra money, and that is how appraisal contingencies get removed from purchase contracts. Buyers understand it, they close the deal, and whammo, now you have a new higher value. We're getting to the point where some of the recent sales are going to establish a higher value, so appraisals will hopefully be less of a challenge as we get into the summer months, because we do think that prices are going to level as we get into the summer months. We'll have lots of comps from our sales in March, April, and May. But I tell you, for the last 6 months, this has been the issue that's caused problems in escrows. Appraisals not coming in, and the agent's not making it very clear what the ground rules were. 3I, if you're a seller, make sure it's removed from your purchase contract. Thank you.